Welcome to Focus On, Empowering Africa's Future, Mastering AI for Growth. In this episode, we hear from Samuel Rutunda, Chief Technology Officer at Digital Umuganda, on how they are pioneering AI, an open data company to bridge Africa's digital divide by enhancing access to information in underdeserved languages. I'm your host, Sandrine Motoniwase. Welcome to our studios in BC Africa. Can you start by telling us about what you do, about Digital Umuganda? Just give us a brief background of it.
Yes, my name is Samuel Rutunda. I lead the technical team, or I'm a Chief Technological Officer at Digital Umuganda. Digital Umuganda is NLP, or Natural Language Processing, and Open Data Science, data sets. Digital Umuganda is a natural language processing company and open data sets company with a focus of African languages. We work to create the basic infrastructure needed for AI to be able to speak in African languages.
Great. How does Digital Umuganda's work in collecting and utilizing data in the 17 countries African languages contribute to bridging the digital divide in Africa?
We need to talk. AI needs data. AI needs to be able to understand our language, and then we must have the data sets. So what we do is, and it's even in our name, we actually gather the communities, and then we explain the work we are doing so that we can collect data. So it's based on the concept of Umuganda, which is a Rwandan concept based on togetherness, where the community comes together. And our work with the 17 countries has been mostly focused. We started in Rwanda, but when we decided to scale, we work with local partners. So these are people who are native to those to the country, who speak those languages, and then we work with them so that they can contribute and create those data sets.
Excellent. Can you elaborate on the Open Data for All, OD for All, and initiative, and how do you envision the creation of the data sets for 100 African languages impacting the development of AI-based voice solutions in Africa?
Yeah. Thank you. OD for All is the program that we have that we use to collect data. So we started in 2019. Once we did Kinyarwanda, we're like, okay, what's the next phase? We're like, there's over 2,000 African languages, and most of them are what we call low resourced. It means there is little to no resource. Oh, by the way, there was these data sets that came out that showed it collected the internet data, and it was found out that English, for example, is 45% of the data, but the Niger Congo, which is part of the Bantu languages, made of 500 million, had only 0.002% of the data, which means when we are talking about AI, it would mean that it will be very difficult for AI to be able to understand those languages. So OD for All comes to bridge those gaps. Obviously, we cannot do 2,000 hours, so we have to do 100 hours, starting with the most spoken African languages.
Excellent. Digital Umuganda has developed innovative solutions before, like Banza, COVID-19, chatbot, and model LMS plugin. How do you see these solutions improving access to information services in the underserved languages, and what is next in your product development?
Yes. So we've worked on different products. That one includes the Mbaza chatbot, which works within the health community. And one of those, it provides access to community health workers. So we have over 58,000 community health workers across Rwanda, and not everyone can speak English, so they need access to information. One case that happened with us was during the Marburg outbreak. One of the community health workers, the community asked them, what's Marburg? And then they have to find out that information. So the idea is, if we create a chatbot, now they will have a way to access that information. As for the Moodle LMS, it was on education, where we noticed that there's a lot of courses that exist in English, but we need to reach out for people who speak in Rwanda, and our focus was on digital literacy and entrepreneurship. So how can we, instead of having people translate, how can we automatically translate those courses and allow teachers to easily have access to those courses and students to easily choose the language they are comfortable in learning those courses.
Interesting. Looking at the healthcare workers, how do you envision the large language models and the CHWs in Africa, and what are the potential benefits and challenges of this approach?
We are looking at two approaches. The first one is to provide them basic information, so they have questions they can ask. It's an Ask Me Anything chatbot. And then the second one, it's a study, it's an ongoing study, where we are looking how can we help them provide better care. So they already receive basic training. So is there a way to use LLM to say, okay, the patient has given you this information, can you ask this follow-up information, so that they can gather all the information. At first is to analyze if it can help them provide better care, but if not, it can also provide better information that will be later used by the nurses and the doctors. With regard to the challenges, LLM are probabilistic, so the answers are not always safe. So the question is, how do we ensure safety? Because community health workers, they cannot be held reliable compared to doctors. But how do we ensure safety so that the patients will be safe? It's a question, it's an open question, but I think with time, as we are deploying, we decided to go step by step, where we do not just put it out there, but we test to make sure that everything is good. And over time, as it learns more and as we understand how it works, it will be able to determine if it's safe, and once it's safe, we can deploy within the hands of the community of workers.
That brings us to the end of Focus on Empowering Africa's Future, Mastering AI for Growth. Thank you for watching.